guys, welcome back to today's video. Today's video we are going to shift gears a little bit and talk about a little mental health check-in. Let's see where we're all at right now, after going through, we're kind of in the aftermath yet still going through the pandemic. It just seems like, because it's been going on for so long, that it almost becomes too normal. Like, people are getting too comfortable, I guess, too lax. And so I just wanted to touch base because, it's not always what we look like on the outside, but more importantly, it's how we feel on the inside about is it makeup that we have insecurities, or, what is it for me? I just love playing with makeup. I love doing makeup. And I'm just blessed and grateful that I even have the opportunity to sit in my beauty room and just do what I want to do. There's so many different things to do with makeup and skincare, and just there's more to us than just how we look on the outside. So does that make sense? Like we always talk about when we're doing makeup, I'm just using it as an example, as when we do the no makeup look, or we want to do like a fresh look that gives us like a glow from within. We want to radiate that. We want people to see and look at us like, wow, like there's something about her that just glows, and I'm literally talking makeup right now, but it also has to do with the glow from within, like in us, like what is going on in us that we're able to radiate that to the world. So, I just thought, wow, that kind of sounds like, we talk about a glow from within, but what is really going on inside of us, and how do we express that or not express it and hide it and suppress it? And, I know for me, being a single mom, and my oldest three, when I'm talking single mom, like their dad didn't help me one day. There was not one day in all three of their lives that he had the kids, like to give me a break or while I worked. He just was not a part of the kids' lives whatsoever, like no way, shape, or form. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that he didn't even help me buy diapers. Like he never bought one bag of diapers their whole entire life. He was basically a sperm donor. Like that's literally all he was. So I mean, what do you do with that? What do you have no other choice, because you're not gonna be a deadbeat mom, just because he's a deadbeat dad. Like what happens to our kids if both parents decide that they don't want the responsibility? My youngest daughter's dad is somebody completely different, and although he was good financially, he was a shitty dad. So there's 7 years between her and my son. So my son was the youngest for 7 years, and then I had her. So her, obviously, so my oldest three were 2 years apart. When I had her, my youngest daughter, I was in a completely different place in my life. Still struggling with mental illness and stuff, but financially and just, emotionally, mentally, I was in a different place in my life. So her upbringing was a little bit different than the oldest three. So, I mean, her grandparents and her dad's side, was very involved and wanted to be involved. Unlike my oldest three's, grandma and, that side of the family. It really makes me feel bad for my kids. It's always made me feel bad for my kids that, like, my daughters didn't have the opportunity to, see how a man is supposed to treat and love a woman, and what they did see, and whatever they remember, because they were so small when he was like 110% out of their life and out of the picture. Whatever memories they have, lingering memories, I don't think they're very good memories. And so I feel bad that like my son didn't have a role model. I made sure that he had a role model, you know, taking him to like Big Brothers, you know, programs, and getting like counselors to, you know, for him to go hang out with or talk to. So he didn't have, you know, he missed out on the opportunity as well to be what is a man, what makes a man, you know, what do men do, like what does it take to be a good man and a good father and a good brother and a good son, you know. So he didn't have that either, so they didn't have a chance to see. And I feel really bad for this because they didn't have a chance to see what a healthy relationship looked like. um and I feel bad about that because, you know, I was struggling with my mental health. Like I was so worse off years ago. I was able to keep a job barely by the skin of my teeth, and I was dealing with mental health, you know, and depression and everything and anxiety, and nobody knew, like nobody at work knew what was going on with me because I've always worn makeup, I've always dressed up, you know, and I guess it was almost like a costume, you know, almost like covering up so people don't see what's going on inside of me, you know, because if they find out who I really am, like what are people going to think of me? And like that's the reality. Like I think I said this in another video. I don't want to be known as who I was and who I used to be, you know. There's been a lot of deaths recently. I mean, obviously everywhere, but um, my husband officiated a couple funerals, and this one particular funeral was today, and he said that there were like over 2,000 people, and it was this very well-known pastor, you know, and he was very, you know, loved, and he did a lot in the community, and you know, it's kind of like, you know, a church with no walls and stuff like that. Like he did a lot. So he was saying there was like 2,000 people, and it just made me think that, wow, like how, obviously we're not going to know, we're not going to be there to witness it, but people will witness, like, and this isn't always true, but how many people show up at your funeral? Like what type of impact did I make in the world? And what impression did I give people that they would want to, God forbid, show up at my funeral? You know what I mean? So I just thought, I was just thinking that when he was telling me there was that many people, like how many people he impacted. And like that's really something to think about. You know what I mean? But dealing with mental health and trying to be a mom it's a whole other story. Like it's hard. Like it was so hard for me, you know, because they were trying me on different meds, and some things weren't working and some things weren't working fast enough. And but still trying to be a mom, you know, still having to show up to be a mom, still trying to show my kids, you know, consistency and love. And, you know, I was always really good about making sure like we had dinner at the same time every night. You know, we went around the table and checked in. How was your day? What'd you have for lunch? You know, that was always my favorite thing to ask my kids. What'd you eat for lunch today? Because I loved school lunch. And so, you know, it was like I was consistent with a lot of things, but I wasn't consistent with maybe some of the more important things like discipline, because I wanted to be different than my dad, and I didn't want my kids to hurt, and I didn't want to hurt them, you know. And when my dad inflicted, you know, mental and physical abuse on me, like it didn't teach me anything. It hurt me, it broke me, it altered my personality, you know, it confused me, and, you know, made me, you know, it in my brain, okay, I was shown, you know, he's an alcoholic, he's a drug addict, functioning, and he abuses me, you know, but that's my dad, and he loves me, and he protects me, but I need protecting from him, you know. So it was, you know, it just, I was set up to fail from the get-go, you know. A lot of us have, like a lot of us have. We were set up to fail from the get-go, and that's not our fault. That is not our fault. At the same time, we can't blame our parents because their parents are the reason that they turned out the way they did. You know, my grandfather was very abusive with my dad, and he was a mean man. My grandma was a nervous wreck. She was like bouncing off the walls. She smoked and drank coffee all day long. She never sat down, you know, so she was dealing with mental illness as well. You know, back then they all self-medicated. I don't think one of them went to the doctor and got diagnosed, you know, properly as, oh, you're bipolar, you are struggling with, you know, borderline personality disorders. Like there's all these different, you know, they weren't diagnosed. You just knew that they were. Like looking back, I know that my dad was mentally ill. Oh, he was mentally ill. Like, but that's not my fault, you know? And a lot of things are hereditary. So, you know, with me inheriting, unfortunately, the depression, and my kids, you know, being affected by it, by my depression, and then they have their stuff. So, you know, what happens when you're having to be a mom and you're struggling with mental illness and you're trying to be a good example? You know, I worked, I was very clean. Their house, you know, my house was always clean. You know, they were always clean. You know, I cooked all the time. You know, I wasn't the mom in the bars. I wasn't the mom, you know, getting high and stuff. Their friends' moms were the bartenders and the moms that sell drugs. Like would I ever get credit for that? No, but God knows, and God knows what I did, and they know. I guess it depends on their memory. You know, do they have selective memory? You know, we have selective memory as human beings. We all do. And I guess partly one of the reasons that, you know, I have a little bit of regret in not disciplining them enough. You know, I would ground them and then I didn't follow through, because, you know, my heart, oh, you know, I'm sorry, mom, can I just go do this, you know? And the softy in me, you know, didn't follow through, and that's how we shape them. So I did them a disservice by spoiling them, and because I couldn't give them everything, I tried to spoil them with love, you know, and over encouraging. And because you can over encourage a kid and then they grow up to be cocky and arrogant. Like, you can do that. Trust me, it's a thing. But, you know, I just did the best I could do. We are all doing the best we can do. You know, new moms and dads are doing the best they can do, and they're going to learn, and their kids are going to blame them for X, Y, and Z. And, you know, but everybody's just doing the best that they can do. We're all just being the best version of ourselves that we can be in that moment. And as time goes on, you look back and you're like, wow, I can't believe I did that, or I should have did this and I should have did that. That's life. That's, you know, hindsight's 2020. Like, that's just life. It just is that way, and it's always going to be that way till the end of time. But you know, just not having the help that I needed with my kids, never getting a break. Now, my mom is the only one who ever helped me with my kids. Like, my mom went through a lot to help me. She gave up a lot to help me that I feel bad for to this day. You know, I feel bad because I was in need of something, because I was always doing something and going through something. And, you know, my mom had to try to pick up the slack of it. And, you know, she helped me a lot. I probably wouldn't have got through, you know, a lot of the things that I went through if it wouldn't have been for my mom. Like, she helped me with the kids, you know, she picked them up from daycare if I couldn't. She watched them for me when I wanted to go out and do stuff. You know, she went through a lot. I remember one time, maybe twice, pawned her wedding ring to help me out with something, and she lost him. You know, like, there's a lot of things that I feel bad for. You know, we remember a lot of the bad, but we don't give credit where credit's due. And she did a lot for me. She's done a lot for my kids. She's done a lot for their kids. She is still to this day doing things, you know. I think now, you know, she can't babysit as much, you know, like she did many, 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 many years. You know, she was a good mom, good grandma. You know, she was also a victim of my dad's abuse. So not everything is, well, where was your mom? You know, my mom was being abused too. So, you know, there's so much there's so many different videos that we could sit here and talk about so many different things, but it's so many different videos and so many different days and time to be able to cover, you know, half of it. But, you know, I just wanted to touch base and see how everybody was doing, you know, in the aftermath of things, and we're still going through things, and, you know, dealing with mental illness. You know, it's hard. It's hard dealing with mental illness because the pandemic increased everybody's depression and anxiety and made healthy people sick. You know, and so it's just been a roller coaster for everybody. It's been a roller coaster for me. I've gone through a lot this past few months that I can't share yet, and I will, but it's just been really, really hard. So, you know, I try not to take things personal anymore so much. Some things just are personal, and I am offended by some things, and we should as humans, because people should respect you and not, you know, mistreat you. People should not walk all over you. You're nobody's punching bag, you know, and just try to take care of yourself. You know, it's okay to rest. I have to keep telling myself it's okay to rest, and I haven't got it yet. You know, maybe that's part of me being stubborn, that I'm stubborn with myself, you know, and we need to be our own best friend, because a lot of times we're our own worst enemy and our own worst critic, and we shouldn't be, because we have so many other people coming against us, you know, in all different directions. You know, you're not getting support where you feel you should get support. So, you know, I've tried to stay involved with church, and I'm doing more volunteering with Hope House, and, you know, trying to do more videos and trying to stay more upbeat and stay encouraged, and, you know, staying in prayer, doing Bible study. Like, it's an everyday thing for me. It's a 7 days a week. I don't just go to church on Sundays and Wednesday night Bible studies when I can. I do Bible study of my own, and, you know, do my own work 7 days a week. That's the God's honest truth. So, you know, I'm not saying you guys have to do what I do. You know, there's not a one size fits all. Everybody has their ways of coping with their depression and their anxiety, and no way's the right or wrong way. We all have our own opinions, and it doesn't make me right and you wrong, or vice versa. Everybody just is entitled to their own opinion. But, you know, mental illness is a very serious thing, and it needs to be talked about, and there's no shame in it. And a lot of men don't like to talk about it. A lot of men won't admit to being depressed, or, you know, they don't want to take medications for depressions, because then I'm guessing that it makes them feel weak. That's just what I think. But, you know, after growing up the way I grew up, obviously attracting toxic people, maybe I'm toxic myself. I don't know, you know, I think we all are to a degree, but, you know, being in toxic relationships and abusive relationships, not realizing that that's what I'm attracting until I'm in it. You know, we don't realize until we're in it. We can't even see things for what they are until we're out of it, you know, and don't stay too long. I stay too long. Don't, you know, think about things too much, you know, think about it for a while, cry for a while, cry every day if you have to, but, you know, don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. You are right where you need to be. You know, you're perfect in every way, and don't compare yourself to people on social media, because 90% of that is just for social media. People aren't showing you their home life. They're not showing you everything that goes on. So when you see them on vacation, or buying a new car, or buying all this expensive stuff for decorations, you know, come decorate with me, let's go shopping, you know, people aren't telling you that their credit cards are maxed out. People aren't telling you that, you know, they're fighting with their spouse because they're spending money they're not supposed to be spending, or they're not showing you all that. We don't show the world. What I'm showing you right here is what you guys are seeing, right? But I'm not showing you what's on the inside. If I could flip myself inside out, you would be like, oh my God, you're black and blue, you know, because that's how I feel sometimes. But mental health is really, really hard. You know, mental illness it's very hard, and it's very hard to be a mom, and to work, and to be a wife, and be a daughter. Like, it's so hard to wear all those hats and be all that when you're just in fragments. Like, we're fragmented, you know, there's so many things that have happened in our lives, people that have come and gone, and people that have hurt you, and people that have said things about you. Just think of all the different people in your lives that you've interacted with up until where you're at right now in your life. Think about, like, how did you get through all that? I look back and I know that God got me through everything in my life. He's still getting me through everything that I'm going through on a daily basis. You know, He's with me every step of the way. I feel it, I hear it. I don't hear His audible voice, but you know, when you hear something, you feel something in your gut. Somebody will say something about it, or you'll see it over here, over there. That's how I describe God speaking to me. Is something I'm feeling here, something this pastor said over here, something that my friend told me here. I saw something, a post, and all of it lines up to what I've been praying about or thinking about or having problems with. That's how I say God's been speaking to me, and that's how it works for me. I'm not saying for, you know, every other Christian or everybody, period, but I just wanted to make sure I covered all bases with today's video. I didn't want it to be a super long video, but I wanted to just do it, you know, a check-in and talk about struggling and how hard it is to deal with mental illness and still have to show up at work and still have to show up as being a mom and trying to show a good example and trying to love people and forgive people and just get up yourself and drag yourself out of bed by your hair, because that's what I do most days. And looks are deceiving. You know, you can't judge a book by its cover. You don't know what's going on inside somebody's life. You know, you're at church. People at church are drug addicts. People at church are getting ready to go through a divorce. You know, they're being abused at home. We don't know what's going on with people. Not everything's perfect. Just because him and his wife are in church and their kids are in church, and it's like, wow, like, how did they get there? Like, how is their life so perfect? But the husband and wife, as soon as they get in the car, are arguing on the way home. Like, you don't know what's really going on with people. All you need to do is just focus on you, be the best person you can be to other people, love them as best as you can. But, you know, you have to, like they say on the airplane, you have to secure your oxygen mask before you can secure anybody else's, because you can't help anybody else if your oxygen mask isn't on, you know? I mean, that's just the reality, and that's the truth. So take care of yourself, guys. Do what you can. Reach out. You know, not everybody can afford to go to a spa or to go on vacation or to, you know, go shopping or whatever. But, you know, do the little things that you can. Set small goals for yourself so that you are like, wow, I accomplished everything that I set out today, you know, even though it was just 2 or 3 things. I went back to the gym now. I'm back in the gym. I've been doing the infrared sauna, which is, you know, going to even out my skin tone from head to toe, because I go in there naked. I want to make sure that, you know, the infrared light is so good for your skin. You guys have to read the benefits on it. It's great for your skin. I do the what's it called? The beds, the hydro beds and the hydro chairs. Like, those are amazing after you work out. So if you can't do anything like that, you can go to a rec center. If you can't afford a spa or a gym, you know, they have rec centers that you can go to, just to try to do things. Even just get out and go to the park. If you can't get to the gym and do a treadmill, just go to the park. Walk around your house, go around your block a few times or whatever. You know, you would be surprised how much, I know they say exercise, it's great for stress, but do you know how hard it is when you're depressed and you're so tired and you're in so much pain to want to get up and get ready and go to the gym? Like, it's hard. Like, that is so hard. Even just to get up and go to work. It's very hard when you're dealing with mental illness to do all those things. So this was just my little check-in, guys. I just wanted to touch base and kind of talk a little bit about that. Just all that made me think about, you know, a glow from within is kind of like what, you know, kind of triggered it. And just wanting to talk about the struggles of being a parent while dealing with mental illness. It's hard. It's very hard, and it's not easy. And I give everybody credit, whoever's a parent, a single mom or a single dad. Like, you know, you're doing the best you can, and hopefully your kids one day will see that. And, you know, it's not like I need credit and I want, credit. I don't, you know, want a trophy or anything. You know, God knows the type of mother that I've been, and that what I've done to maybe hurt other people. You know, God knows we all have to answer to Him. So don't worry about, you know, what I'm doing, and I'm not going to worry about what you're doing, because we each have to answer to God for our own individual lives. So with all that being said, guys, I love you so much, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. Even though I don't have a lot of followers, you know, I do get some views, and that's all that matters, is I'm getting views and people are watching. And hopefully you're watching to the end, and you're giving my video a thumbs up. I appreciate that if you do. And please subscribe and share my channel with other people, your friends, your family, other crazy people like me. And yeah, so interact with me, leave me some comments, pick my brain, ask me some questions, and we'll touch back, you know, soon. But I just wanted to do this, talk about some things, and, you know, just tell my mom thank you. Like, you know, the world needs to know that, you know, she's done a lot. She deserves a reward. A reward. She does. She deserves an award, you know, like a, one of those global, what are they called? What are those awards that people get? It's a Golden Globe, right? Like an Emmy. Yeah, she deserves that. She's still being a great grandma and a great mom, and she's been through a lot. And she lost 3 kids already, and almost lost me. And I couldn't imagine, God forbid, losing one of my children, much less 3. Like, she has me and my brother left. She's been through a lot, and she's had to survive a lot. She's a cancer survivor as well, and survived my dad's abuse, which was many, many years. And she, you know, has been an angel and a saint, literally. I don't think she feels appreciated, you know, half of the time, but I appreciate her and I love her with all my heart. And, you know, I love spending time with her. We had lunch and spent time with each other. I want to say yesterday, but yeah. Was it yesterday or the day before? I think it was the day before yesterday. Sorry, I get my days mixed up. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been a long one. I went way too far, longer than I wanted to. But I will see you guys in my next makeup review, or just something. I'll have something for you guys. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.